Hello everyone, this is Ohio Dan. Today's video topic is the idea of making your life into a meritocracy as it relates to other people. Now, we all hear about meritocracy as kind of a social system where people who really are the best at something, whose success is merited based on the skills that they have, the talents that they have, the effort that they put into developing those skills and talents, and just basically whether they've earned something or not, that we have a social system that is based on people being in positions or people having success where it's merited. Now, we don't really have control over whether we actually live in a meritocracy or not. There's a lot of criticism, of course, about the idea of a meritocracy because at some level, you're always going to have people with power and you're always going to have people without power. And that's always going to create, to some extent, an unfair kind of life circumstance. So, there's a lot of criticism on meritocracy as kind of the ideal social system. But what I'm talking about here is something that you totally can control, basically 100%. And that is making your own life into a meritocracy. And this is really in regard to people who feel entitled to you and what you can provide to other people in your life, but who basically bring nothing to the table whatsoever themselves. They're not willing to do for you what they expect you to do for them. And what I'm going to say in this video is, you need to make your own personal life into a meritocracy. You need to only allow people who bring value into your life to remain a part of your life, to remain a part of what you do. And this can be so important because if you don't do this, you're going to end up with people in your life who are constantly wasting your time, who are pretending to be a positive part of what you do and pretending to bring something to the table, but when you look at it, all they do is drain your energy. All they do is drain your resources. All they do is basically pretend to be your friend or pretend to care about you and to be on your team, so to speak, in life. But then when you really need them, they're not there. When things aren't going well for you and you can't provide what they feel like they're entitled to, now all of a sudden you're the bad guy. All of a sudden they either cut you off completely or they go after you personally. They try to basically bring you down because you're not giving them what they think that they deserve from you anymore. Now, what I'm saying is the best thing to do with these kinds of people is to get them out of your life as much as you possibly can. Sometimes you can't, if you have a child with someone else or something like that, but except in those kinds of rare, exceptional circumstances, you can basically get these people out of your life, but there's a price to pay. And this is kind of similar to what I've talked about before with like the dark side of the red pill, where especially if you're a man, and basically this video is for individual men, although individual women could take this advice as well. But especially if you're a man today, you are expected to do what society wants you to do. You are expected to be at service of others and not expect anything in return. You're basically expected to make yourself into a servant or a slave for other people and smile the whole time that you do it and never question anything. And so if you really take these people in your life that don't belong there, they have nothing positive to offer you, they expect that you should be there for them, but they're not willing to do the same. When you get these people out of your life, they're going to try to talk about how you are a bad person. They're going to basically try to ruin your reputation in some cases. They're going to try to ruin your standing with others. They're going to try to spread bad rumors about you in some cases. At least in a minor sense, at least in minor ways, they're probably going to basically become your enemies. But the thing is, these kinds of people aren't really your friends to begin with. So you need to be prepared, especially if you're a man, when you start to make your life into a meritocracy where people are only in your life if they actually bring something to the table, where people only have a meaningful part of your life if they actually bring something positive into your life. As you go through that process, you're going to have a lot of people that, they try to turn their backs on you or they try to compel you to kind of continue to engage with them. That's another thing you'll find is that people, they're going to still expect you to be at service to them, but they realize that you're walking away, so they're going to do anything they can to get you to come back. And again, you have to see whether there's merit or not in that. And what I'm saying is there really isn't if it gets to this point. Now, I also want to talk about identity. When you have people who say that they're your friends, they say that they love you, people in your family, for example, or even in a relationship, it's not based on who they are. It's based on, again, whether they're actually a positive part of your life. So someone could be a close relative, and they really don't bring anything positive into your life, and they really just take you for granted. They have this entitled attitude toward you. They expect you to continue to be supportive of them, but then they don't treat you with respect. They're not on your team, so to speak, in life. They don't add any value to what you do, but they still expect you to be around at, their disposal, basically, whenever they feel like they deserve something from you. And these kinds of people need to go as well. The only exception to that could be like the parent-child relationship, because that is a unique type of relationship, and I recognize that that's unique. So I would say that in that kind of scenario where you have a parent or you have a child that is treating you with a great amount of disrespect, or who obviously is not willing to have any sort of positive relationship with you, like there's nothing that you can work on that they don't take advantage of or sabotage. And again, I'm talking about adults. I'm not talking about if you have kids under 18. In that case, you might always leave the door open for them, but I would even say get away from your parents, get away from your children if they can't be a positive part of your life. If they suck the energy away from you, if they're not really on your team, or another thing is just bad things that people can do in general. If people lie to your face, or if people talk badly behind your back, you've got to be able to try to fix that if you can and confront them on it. But if you realize that that's not going to work, again, you just cut these kinds of people out of your life. It doesn't matter whether they're related to you. And the other part of this is people who will act like they're your friends. They'll act as if you have a history with them, or they'll act as if they have your best interests in mind. But then when bad things happen, they show that they're not really on your team. They show that they really only are thinking of themselves and about what they can get from you. Don't let these people turn back around and come back into your life later. Unless, you can really see that they've changed, but even then, you really have to be skeptical. All my experiences tell me that nothing good comes from that. You've got to be able to discern which people belong in your life and have a place in your life based on merit over the people who don't do anything to have a place in your life. And so some people, for example, people in your family, they may have a favorable position to start off with, but if they don't continue to treat you well, if they don't respect you, if they just take you for granted, and you don't have to deal with them, cut them off. This is part of basically becoming your own person. This is part of making your life a meritocracy. Don't allow anybody to continue to exploit you or continue to drain your energy. And, like I say, a lot of these people, they'll pretend to be on your team in life. They'll pretend to want what's best for you, but then certain situations will happen that show their true colors, that show that they're not really on your side. They don't want what's best for you. They only care about what they can get out of you. And again, this is especially true if you're a man today in society, especially with women. A lot of the time, it's just about what they can get from you. And you have to realize when that's the case and when these people no longer need to be part of what you do. They no longer need to be part of your life. So the last kind of point that I want to make is that this is not about selfishness. It's not about taking advantage of people. That's not what I'm saying. I'm not saying that you only allow someone into your life if they have a certain amount of wealth or resources, if they do something specific for you. I'm not talking about that in terms of material gain or in terms of selfishness. I'm talking about actually having your back. I'm talking about people showing that they actually want what's best for you, that they actually care about you, and aren't just trying to take advantage of you in life. Because, and I've learned this to a certain extent the hard way, and I'm pretty sure that other people who are listening to this have probably learned it the hard way, possibly to an even greater extent than I have. But if you allow these kinds of people to remain part of your life, the people that don't respect you, they just want to take advantage of you, there's nothing positive to build with them. If you allow these people to remain part of your life, you're never going to be able to better your own life. you're never going to be able to better who you are or to better your situation and to focus on the goals that you need to achieve. Because rather than having people that are on your team, basically, and want you to achieve those goals that you have for yourself or that you have in life in general, you have people surrounding you that are going to sabotage that. You have people surrounding you that aren't interested in your own success. They don't care whether you're successful, and in some cases, they actually want you to fail. So it's so important to recognize the people that bring value into your life and that have some level of reciprocity in whatever connection you've built with that person. They want what's best for you. They're actually interested in your success. It's so important to make your life a meritocracy so that only those people are a part of what you do. And if someone tries to cut you down, if someone, like I say, they talk about you behind your back, they lie to your face, they disrespect you in a major way, you've got to get them out. You've got to recognize that these people are just going to continue to take value away from your life. They're going to prevent you from becoming a better version of yourself. They're going to prevent you from achieving your goals. And again, some people may start off in a more favorable position. You know, there are people that have been part of my life for a long time that I'm sure are interested in my success and that I basically have a beneficial relationship with. So it would take a lot for me to look at what they do and say, you know what, they're not really on my team anymore, so I'm just going to move on from them. But it is possible. They may have a better position to start off with, but it's possible that they could say or do things and really show that they don't want what's best for me anymore. And at that point, that's it. You know, and again, there are exceptions to this to an extent. The parent-child relationship is kind of an exception to this because that's kind of a unique bond. But even in that situation, you know, you have to have only healthy relationships with people. You have to make your life into a meritocracy. Only the people that merit being a significant part of your life deserve to have a place in your life. And you cannot waste time on the people that don't want what's best for you and that basically don't add value to what you do. And again, it's not selfishness. It's a matter of wanting to be a better version of yourself. It's a matter of wanting to grow and wanting to have only healthy connections with people. And it's just so essential to make your life a meritocracy so that you can have positive results like this in the sense of, you know, mutual value and mutual benefit. Otherwise, you're going to continue to waste your energy on people that don't belong as part of your life, and you're going to continue to deal with negative consequences for doing that. You've got to do your best to only form good relationships with people, and if there's no one around that's your friend, if there's no one around that really has your best interest in mind, then just basically don't have friends. You know, that's a difficult situation, but it's better to have no friends at all than it is to have people around you that just exploit you. You have to make your life into a meritocracy and only deal with the people that add value to your life and the goals that can make you into a better person over time and allow you to have healthy connections with people when those connections are available. Do not allow yourself to be exploited. Do not allow people in your life who don't belong there to continue to take your time and energy away.